What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another lure making tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make your own Ned Rigs. I'm going to be using a do-it mold, and they call it the Midwest Finesse Jig. Basically, it's a Ned Rig, but they had to change the name. So this is the bigger one. This is the 1/4 ounce. This is a smaller 1/16 ounce. As you can see, I have it paired with a 3-inch Hellgrammite. This is a lure I poured about a week ago, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, I'll leave a link in the description and also a card at the end of the video. But we're going to head outside and we're going to pour some of these jigs. Alright guys, let's get right into this. This is what I'm going to be using to pour the Ned Rigs. Got my melting pot, that's ready to go. Got to clean some slag off. This is the mold we have. Do It Molds Midwest Finesse Jig. And this is the mold with the 1/16, 3/32, 1/8, 5/32, 3/16, and the 1/4. And for hooks, I have an assortment. These are all light wire hooks. These are the 1/0 Eagle Claw little nasty hooks. I love these. Them are a really good hook. And we have the Bait Keeper. These are the 3/8. These are the smaller ones. And a little heavier of a hook. These are the 1/0 Mustads. And a little smaller than that, we have the Mustad size 1. And again, these are the soft plastics I'm going to be running on the Ned Rigs. And I have some pliers, my slag bucket, which you'll see here in a second, and just the safety equipment, gloves. I have long sleeves, and I'll be putting my glasses on right now. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to get that slag cleaned out. Now that we're up to temp, I'm going to turn this down a little, and we're going to get some of that junk off the top there. See that? It almost comes out looking like dirt. Just going to get this all cleaned out, then we'll get rolling. Alright, so I got all my hooks and my keepers out, and we're going to get started here. First thing I'm going to do is just do a few test pours, get the mold warmed up. Now we're just going to get the mold warmed up a little. So now we're going to get the mold prepped, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a complete run of these, all sizes. Primarily going to be using the smaller ones initially. Once I get into bass fishing here in another week or so, I'll be using some of the bigger ones. Okay, now let's get the keepers in. Alright, just doing a quick double check, they should all line up. Yep, got a good seal. I'm gonna get my glove on and we're gonna pour them. Good thing with these is they don't take a lot of lead. Once them solidify, it's gonna give them 5 seconds or so. And see if we can get these all on the same side. And there's your Ned Rigs, just like that. All sizes from the 1/16 up to the 1/4. They all came out good. Just gonna do a quick inspection. I'm looking around the eyes. All the eyes look good. Oh, actually, we had one miss pour on the small one. That small one. See if we got it that time. Hey, how much better? That first one was just a miss pour, but there's the small, there's the baby one, and there's the 1/4. They all look good. And we're gonna do one more run of these, but we're gonna use a traditional 90-degree jig hook, and we're gonna go inside and paint them. Alright, let's see if we got them. Try to get them all on the same side. Alright, let's see how we did on this run. And we got them. They all look good. Here's the 1/16 over here by itself. Get this over with the other ones. And there we go, 1/16, 1/4. Looks like we have all complete pours. So next step is we're going to go inside and we're going to powder paint them. Alright, so before we paint them, we got to trim them up a little bit and have them organized onto a piece of paper. I try my best to not have lead contact in surfaces I touch frequently. So what we're going to do is take a little pair of cutters and we're just going to clip that sprue off. I'm going to save that because we're going to remelt that. And you could almost not even touch these and just fish them as is. But what I do is I take a file and I give this a quick file just to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And I'm making sure all the shave-ins go onto that piece of paper. And that's ready to paint. Then it'll be ready to fish. So we're just going to run through these, clip all these off, and then we're going to paint them. All right, there we go, all trimmed up. Now we're ready for some powder paint. And I'm only going to use a few colors. We're going to use some pearl white. We're going to use some brown. And we're going to use some... And we're going to use some watermelon. Looks like a green pumpkin. And we just have a small flame going over here off my propane torch. It's just barely going. You don't need much to heat these jigs up. Alright, so next step is we're going to take our jig with a pair of pliers and we're going to heat it up over here. You don't need much because you don't want to melt your jig head. And we're going to dip it into the paint, give it a swirl, knock off the excess, and we have a powder painted jig. And the first thing I'm going to do, and while the paint is still on the warm side, I'm just going to make sure we have a nice clean eye, which we do. Just like that, that looks good. We're going to hang it, let it cool, and move on to the next one. Alright, last one with the green pumpkin. This is the 1/4. This is the biggest of the group. Comes out perfect just about every time. And these jigs are actually the first ones I've ever dipped. I've always dropped paint on with a paintbrush, but where these are so small, it's actually easier to dip them. And I know this isn't ideal. I'm either going to make a fluid bed or I'm going to buy one. But for this round of jigs, this is getting it done for what I need. I'm just going to do a couple with the white. This is that pearl white. Looks pretty good. All right, last one. A little extra heat. Okay, so we're all painted. Just a small run of them here. They all came out looking pretty good. Good finish on them. And the next step I'm going to do off camera. I'm going to hang these in an oven for 20 minutes at 350. And that's going to do its final baking process onto the jig head. And it's going to be nice and durable when it's done. So we're going to do that now, and then I'll catch back up with you. Alright guys, we're back. These hung for about 20 minutes at 350. And it's been about 10 minutes after that. And they came out looking pretty good. They don't really look any different after you get them out of the oven. They look pretty much the same. And I'll just show you guys real quick what these are going to look like on the lures I'm going to be using them on. Show you the Helgramite here. These are them Helgramites that I showed you earlier. And we're going to put this on the green pumpkin head. Actually, it's a watermelon, but kind of looks like a green pumpkin. Just going to thread this up. I think this is going to be killer up here in Maine, both for bass and for trout. Actually, that's going to be a little far. Just going to back that out just a little. Yeah, that looks better. So there's that jig head with the 3-inch Helgramite. I think this thing's going to look pretty mean out there on the river, bouncing that on bottom or fishing under a float. I think that's going to look pretty darn good. Let's try it with the 1/16 ounce. So this is the smallest one. Alright, let's see what it looks like with the 1/16. And looks just as good. Head's just not as pronounced. But depending on what I'm going to use, you know, I'll have a wide variety with this one mold. And there you have it, folks. There is your Midwest Finesse Jig Head mold, aka Ned Rig. It's a very versatile jig head. I'm really excited to try it on these Hellgramites and these little flukes. Obviously, you can use them on them little mini worms that this is more traditionally known for. But that mold poured really well, pretty much flawless. And the only miss pour I had was with that first 1/16th ounce. But overall, poured really well. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask. I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.